Hi everyone, welcome back to another travel season with 540 Volleyball. I'm Courtney, the Junior Travels Assistant.
And I'm Nicole, I'm the Director.
And we're going to talk to you tonight about our tryout process and our parent handbook. Starting us off with our tryout process, I'm going to walk you through step by step of how we run things at 540. This is mainly for those who are new to our club, new to our tryout process. We do a lot of similar things that we did last year for those of you that are returning to us. But I'm going to go ahead and get started in talking through step by step what travel tryouts look like here at 540. The very first thing we need you to do is register for tryouts. That's done through our website. That'll have you create a League Apps account. And that will have you pick which age group you sign up for. Please make sure you check out the USAV age division chart. That tells you based on your birthday what age group to sign up for. Also being mindful that most likely you want your child to play with their grade. And so if they have a July or August birthday, the USAV chart will tell them to play down an age group. But we would prefer them to play with their grade. So just make sure you're paying attention to that. If you have any questions about that, you can let us know and we can direct you which age group to try out for. We first have a pre-tryout orientation. We have a few dates on our website for that. First date coming up being September 8th from 2 to 6 p.m. That is mainly for those who are trying out in the U15 through the U18 division in our boys. That'll be from 2 to 6 p.m. We also are offering a free open gym from 2 to 4 on that same day for those who are already signed up for tryouts. We also have another one on September 13th from 6 to 9 p.m. and then our third and final one, mainly for those trying out in the U12 through the U14 division, on October 20th from 2 to 4 p.m. This is all on our website. Everything we'll be saying tonight in this video is also, you can find it on our website. There is quite a bit of paperwork that we ask you to bring to that event, and we do this so that on the day of tryouts, we are not collecting paper from you. We already have this paper before tryouts, and it makes the tryout check-in process much smoother. So what we ask for you to bring to the pre-tryout orientation is proof of your USAV membership. That does not have to be connected to the 540 club. However, if you know that you are playing for our club, you certainly can already connect your account to 540. You will be asked to sign our financial agreement. That is on the website. You will be asked to sign your child's USAV medical release form, the parent code of conduct, and then we ask that you bring 2 copies of your birth certificate. That is something that our coaches need to bring to every tournament, and we shred those year to year. All of those documents will be found on our website under travel documents. Next thing you'll do after coming to the pre-tryout orientation is attend tryouts. Our tryout times start on Friday, September 13th with just our U18s. They will go from 6 to 8:30. That will be the only day for that age group, and you will get an email with your team offer later that night. The following day, September 15th, or the following Sunday, September 15th, starts our U15 through U17 tryouts along with our boys. The times of tryouts can be found on the website, and when you register for your age group, you will get an email confirmation with the times. But just to go over those, U15 has 2 separate sessions, solely based that we have a high number of people come and try out, and we'd like to make sure we can give enough focus to each kid, so we put it in 2 separate tryouts. First session is from 8 to 9:45. Our second session is 10:15 to 11:45. You'll notice that one is just a 15 minutes shorter based on the time slots of the day. That session will be capped at only 35 players though, so we can make sure that we put focus on every player. U16 follows that with 2 sessions from 12 to 1:45 or 2:30 to 4:15. On September 15th, you can pick whichever session you choose. It does not matter. You pick whichever session works best for you and your family. U17 follows that from 5:30 to 7:30, and then we finish off with our boys from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Those exact tryout times happen again the following Sunday on September 22nd. The only difference is the U15 and the U16. You will be getting an email from us after the 15th to let you know which session we would like you to return to on the 22nd. Then, a couple weeks later, we then will host our 12 through 14s. Their tryouts are not until September 27th and November 3rd. U12 will be 10 to 12, U13 will be 12:45 to 2:45, and U14 will be 3:30 to 5:30. Those same exact ones will go weekend to weekend. Just to confirm, we are November 27th and November 3rd for 12 through 14s. October 27th and November 3rd for 12s through 14s, just to be clear. Following tryouts, you will receive a email from our app called Team Genius that we use during the tryout evaluation. Your email with your offer will come through that app, but it will be written by us. And we will tell every player at tryouts when to expect that email. We do ask that you reply to that email in 48 hours from the time that you receive it. If you do not, your position could be given away. So we ask that you either ask us any questions or you formally accept or decline that within 48 hours of getting that. We are going to do our best this year to get offers out in a timely manner. Do understand, though, that there's a lot of moving pieces with players accepting or declining, and people move up, and there's a chain reaction with how that goes. So we will do our best this year to get them out within a timely manner. But we do ask for your patience as we get those out. We don't want to leave anybody hanging and waiting for an offer, so we are going to get those out as soon as we possibly can. We're going to do our very best. Once you get and accept your offer, the next things that you can think about coming your way will be for your deposit, which Nicole's going to go over that date. But your deposit, then practices will start the week of December 2nd. That is after Thanksgiving. You will be able to expect an email from your coach the week before Thanksgiving, which is November 18th. And then once you get that email, all your questions should go through your coaches at that point. Moving on to our team rankings and how we do things here at 540. We kind of have 5 different levels of teams. First being elite, they play in the most qualifying tournaments. Okay, they travel the most, their tuition fees are the highest, followed by national. They also play in very high level qualifiers. They do have a few more local tournaments compared to elite. This year we have a difference between our Navy and then our white and gray. This year our Navy teams are going to play in regional tournaments in Virginia and then in the surrounding states, whereas our white and gray teams are going to play in regional tournaments, but they're going to stay within Virginia. Finally, we're going to offer a Carolina team at the 12s and 13s age group only. Those teams are going to play in 5 single-day tournaments within like a 50-mile range of Virginia, or of Fredericksburg. So really Richmond and then like the Springfield area. Those 2 teams, being at the youngest age groups, are meant for developmental players that are newer to volleyball but want to dip their toes in travel volleyball. We do plan on having 2 18s teams, 4 17s teams, 5 16s teams, 5 15s teams, 4 14s teams, 4 13s teams, 4 12s teams, and then 1 boys team. In years past, we've had additional teams. We had 7 15s teams last year. We're looking to only have 5 this year. With that being said, if we have players that we do not fill on those 5 teams that have not made a team, and we have the interest to create an additional team and we can find a qualified coach, we will make that team. for players who want to play travel. That is our goal here. But what we're not going to do is create teams that we don't have qualified coaches for. So if your daughter or son does not get offered a spot on one of those teams per your age group, you will get an email saying next steps. That email will let us know if you are interested in still trying to be on a travel team, and we will go ahead and start the next steps of trying to find a qualified coach for that age group. Our coaches are all listed on the website, our elite and national coaches. Our regional coaches will be listed within the upcoming week. And again, they will reach out to you once you accept your offer before the week of Thanksgiving. Nicole is going to take over the parent handbook now, so I'm going to pass it over to her, and she is going to go through the parent handbook. And if there's anything I missed in my section, Nicole will also make sure that she is reiterating anything that I missed.
Thank you, Courtney. It's a great job. So I'm taking over and going to talk about our coaching situation. Every year we do have some kind of a turnover, and we do try to get the best qualified coaches that we can. Each team will be guaranteed one travel coach, with most teams having 2 at practices for sure, but not always having 2 at tournaments. But most of the instructions is happening at the practices, so we're trying to equip all teams with those 2 coaches then. Travel team fees and payments. Once you've accepted a spot on team, you have 2 weeks to pay your deposit. The deposit gets us in and starts being able to pay for tournaments and all that kind of the nitty gritty. What that includes is our court rentals, our registration fees, coach's salary, coach's travel, discounted year-round programming, Huddle, which Huddle provides recording for all the teams at the tournaments, and you can use that to make highlight videos for your kids to send off to colleges, or just to share with anybody you like, or for the kids to review. A new feature we do have this year is we are going to have Huddle record practices. So they will be at practices. Again, could be good for your daughter to take a look at what she's doing at practice. It provides you the opportunity to see practice if you want to take that ability to be able to watch it, since maybe you can't come to practice but you like to see what's going on. And also it provides us management with the ability to go back and kind of review practices and make sure that we're all working in the same light that we want to for the coaches and the directions they give the children. There's also equipment, administrative fees. What this does not include, this does not include your travel to and from tournaments, your players' membership fees, and then your uniform package. Once you make the team, you'll be sent a link to order uniforms. We are still on the same uniform. If you're with us last year, we are still on the same uniform. You would not need to purchase new uniforms. Players who are on the same team as they were last year have priority for that number. So if we have a player who was on the elite team and then a player who was on the national team, and they both make the elite team next year, and they have the same number, the player that was on the elite team would have priority. We did last year able to hook up a couple different players where they could switch uniforms. And that is an option. This is the last year on this set of uniforms that we'll have, and the following year we would have new uniforms. We are a Nike club, and that runs on a 3 to 4 year cycle on uniforms. You have different options for payment. You can pay through credit card, through league apps, and there's a non-refundable processing fee that is included for that. Or you can mail your check to us, or there is a drop box that could be made for the payments here at the club. There is a 5% discount if you pay in full at the beginning of the travel season, and it must be paid by September 30th. in order for that to get that 5% discount. And then you have the option to, when you go into to League App Shop, to pay in full or the payment plan. And then the payment plan is or will be on the website, and will say what you have to pay monthly for those fees. And it's important to remember that you have to keep up on your fees. If you get behind in your payments and you have not communicated with Alex about your payment, why you can't pay that month, your daughter more than likely will have to set out practices until either arrangements are made or the payments are up to date. And then please just refer to the financial agreement that we have you guys sign, and it kind of spells that out for you. The tournaments that we go to, Courtney kind of touched base a little bit on tournaments, but we like to talk about what happens at tournaments. So once the tournament schedule will be posted on the website, we've already made the tournament schedule for all the teams, and then we're just going in and putting in when they're open for us to add those teams. And then we wait for acceptance on those. Sometimes we've had where we weren't accepted. There's a lot of teams. The growth in volleyball is huge this last couple of years. So it is real challenging sometimes to get into tournaments. So sometimes there might be some adjusting. But we will keep you, once you're on a team, we'll keep everybody informed as much as possible on that. We have to follow all the rules of the host facilities, making sure that we are representing 540 in a good manner. Treat officials. If you haven't seen it, officials are hard to find, just like coaches are hard to find anymore these days. So we have to treat our officials with respect to make sure that we have them so we can go to all these tournaments. Players have responsibilities at tournaments. We also have to, this is unlike school, when you go to a travel tournament, players have to work. We have to work the other matches when we're not playing. And all the players are responsible, and they're going to get duties that they have to. If the team works, that means everybody stays until the team is done working, unless the coach has made different arrangements for your team. But just because one player is not working doesn't mean they get to leave before everybody else does. We come as a team and we leave as a team. Like I said, we are Nike. We are a Nike club, and that means we have to wear Nike attire. So all socks, knee pads must be Nike. If you are on a regional team or a Carolina team, your shoes do not have to be Nike, but national and elite players have to have Nike shoes. As far as the uniforms, the spandex, all knee pads must be white. The spandex and the socks need to be white. The spandex are also going to be navy, and they're going to be Nike. If you don't like the specific kind of spandex that we have, there are different versions of the Nike spandex that you can get, but they must be Nike. We do allow, the new trend right now is the long leggings, the kids wearing long leggings. Either they need to be Nike or they need to have no kind of signature logo on the spandex. They can be completely blank. They can't have any other logo, like Adidas, Under Armour, all that cannot be. Mizuno cannot show, can be blank or Nike. All right, so the philosophy when it comes to playing time. We do not guarantee equal playing time on any teams at any event. The structure becomes a little bit different the higher the level. So our goal is to provide as much equal playing time at the regional level that we can, but that's not always possible depending on positions. And at the elite level, playing time is based on performance. In all cases, playing time is left to the discretion of the coaches, and to include playing time during all the travel tournaments. Players are encouraged to talk to their coaches, and coaches are instructed to make sure to have those conversations with each of the players so that they know where they are on their playing time, where they stand, what they need to do to get more playing time. And they will have those either before tournaments, after tournaments, but they will be touching base with them throughout the season so that they know where they stand. So if your daughter tries to tell you she doesn't understand why she's not playing, encourage her to go talk to the coach and have that discussion. And again, parents, allow your players to have that opportunity to grow and try to make those conversations with the coaches and help them to grow as individuals outside of just volleyball. There'll be no contact with the coaches at tournaments when it comes to being upset about playing time. Why is my daughter not playing? Those are not to be done at tournaments. We instruct the coaches just to politely say we're not going to have this discussion, and then walk away. And then they will inform us that this situation, bring it to our attention, and we may have to have a conversation later. But we hopefully we can have cooler heads if any situation arises. We ask that you have a 48-hour cooling off period after a tournament before you reach out to a coach about any situation. The commitment level that is required to play club is pretty high, depending on the team that you play. In order to have a successful season, and we need to have the commitment and commitment to be at practices, to be at tournaments. We understand that sometimes you're going to need to miss. We understand, because traffic in this area is atrocious, that sometimes you're going to be late. We just ask that you communicate as much in advance as you can if you're going to miss or you need to, so that we can again have successful practices. Coaches take time to make practice plans, and we just want to make sure that you give them proper notice so that they can plan for you not being there. If there's things. We understand that there's other sports involved, and you might need to miss a couple practices in the spring because you play tennis. That's understandable. We just know that needs to be communicated so the coach knows why you're missing, what has come up, and we can work around some things. I had a player last year that played soccer, and she made up a practice with another team on a different day that weren't game days, and so she still got her practices in for volleyball and was able to make her high school soccer games. Did you already talk about team parent? Okay, so we are looking for a travel team parent. This person would be coordinate with our boosters, and I'll talk about boosters in a little bit, to work about snack bags, team spirit ideas, fundraising. They kind of take the lead at handling the hotel reservations for the team, and we also possibly they would also be in charge of the Huddle account and having the Huddle set up at tournaments to record games. So if you are interested in that, take a look at our handbook. It kind of goes a little more in detail. If you're interested in being a team parent, we would love to hear from you. Like I said, in the documents that you need to have is a parent code of conduct and players with the expectations. Again, being a team player, team comes first always, no matter what. Positive attitude, demonstrate strong club team spirit and pride, be a leader on and off the court. Some of the things that we ask of you in that parent-player code of conduct. Please have your child read the code of conduct. Please read the code of conduct before you just sign it. And we really are trying to foster a more positive atmosphere here, and we really need the buy-in from everybody when it comes to that. Unfortunately, things come up, and we reserve the right to put anybody on probation suspension for violating any rules. If anything gets out of hand, we reserve that right to say, hey, we might need to part ways. If it becomes a situation where it's unsafe, a situation where it's gotten too much for the coach to handle, we might have that uncomfortable conversation. We have not had to do that, but it's always something that we have to let you guys know that could be a possibility if something was to happen. Club discipline procedures, again, something that we have to talk about and go over, but hopefully we don't have to get there. The first warning is just player-coach meeting, and the parents and the junior and myself and Courtney will be notified. The second offense will be player, coach, parent, and either myself and Courtney at the meeting or one of us at the meeting. And it could end up being a 1-week suspension. If we still have problems, we could have the parents and then the directors in a meeting, and it could be a one-month suspension. And again, if it gets worse, we could suspend you for a whole year. And again, we reserve the right to suspend anybody, if anything that we deem that is necessary that falls outside of what we expect the conduct from our parents and players. This is a really big thing about players and parents grievance policy. When it is concerning a coach's professional behavior, repetitive tardiness, excessive schedule changes, lack of communication, bullying or harassing or anything like that, you are allowed to come directly to Courtney and I or either one of us and talk about that situation. That is allowed to be brought up, and that's the beauty of having huddle at practices. We can go back and look at the practices and see if we see what you are bringing to our attention. Now, if there's a problem about your specific daughter, it is required that you go to the coach first. What we see happening is a lot is we get it directed to us, and the coach has no idea. And sometimes it's a simple conversation that could last less than 5 minutes, and the situation is cleared up. It's more of a misunderstanding than anything, and it doesn't need to be warranted to be brought to our attention at that level. So it is required that so all concerns should be addressed with the player speaking to the coach first. If at that point you're not satisfied with what your daughter comes back with from the coach, then you can have a conversation with the coach and your daughter. Your daughter will be present in all these conversations unless the coach deems it's okay for them not to be. Now, at that point, you've already had the 2 first meetings and you're still not satisfied. That is when we would come in as directors and act as mediators and then walk through the situation with the coaches and the parent and player and see if we can come up with a good resolution to get everybody on the same wavelength here. So we just really want to reiterate that the player needs to go to the coach first, and then the parent and the player go to the coach before it gets brought to the director level. Again, we talked about the cooling off period and the 48 hours. You just want to really make sure that we let cooler heads prevail. And in 40 hours, it might not be as big of an issue as we feel it is in that time during that tournament in that moment. Again, we talked about no aggressive behavior towards coaches or any other parents or anything. It can just result in a direct removal of you from the program. We might ask that, X parent can't come to the tournaments anymore or can't come to the practices if we've caused a big scene with other parents, the coaches. Again, I know we get paid to coach, but we are putting a lot of time and effort into being coaches, and all it takes is one unruly parent to make us not want to do this anymore. And so just really let's respect the coaches and their time that they put in, and we can have a happy season. Cancellations due to weather, that's we pretty much put that out on social media as soon as possible, on our website if we have cancellations or anything there. We usually follow the Stafford County school system. Sometimes they close pretty easily, so we might not exactly follow it, but we're going to put safety first before we have. And at any time, if we still hold practice and you live farther away, or you live, and you don't feel safe, that will not be held against you for missing because of weather. We are going to have there's a Google Doc form that's going to be on the website if you have any questions about any of the topics that we went over. Some of the topics that you thought maybe we were going to go over and we didn't, we'd be happy to get those answers to you, or feel free to call us. I get those phone calls, and I'd be happy to talk anything over with you. We look forward to having you in this travel season, and we can't wait to get started.